Hey guys, welcome on into another episode, Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, Trends of Betting Picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down today's slate. More games to talk about, of course, with a normal slate here on Tuesday, and we'll, of course, jump into that. But we'll start the show as we normally do, taking a look back at what happened yesterday on the show and on my plays. And Obviously, a 6-day winning streak heading into yesterday, and didn't quite start off the best. CJ Abrams over 1.5 bases, a loss, not even a hit. Luis Garcia Jr. over 1.5 bases, a loss, not even a hit. Colt Keith got a hit, but only one, so a loss there. Spencer Steer didn't get a hit, so no bases and no home run. So 0-5 to start the day. Brenton Doyle over 1.5 bases. He only got a hit, one base. So 0-6 to start the day, and things were not looking good. But it's not over till it's over. Byron Buxton over 1.5 bases, minus 103. One of my full unit plays yesterday. He cashed, getting 5 bases. Byron Buxton RBI plus 128, a winner as well. And Brooks Lee RBI and over 1.5 bases, both cash plus 220 for Brooks Lee RBI, which continues to be priced over plus 200 game after game after game. Even against the White Sox, it's still plus 220. I believe today it's still plus 220. Brooks Lee over 1.5 bases plus 160. A nice winner there. Byron Buxton home run. Unfortunately, didn't get there, so a quarter unit loss there. And this brings us to the thank you segment of the day. So we will see who it is that's going to get that today here.
And he blasts that one high in the air, deep out to center. It is gone way up on that hill in center field. A massive cloud for Seager. 17th of the year, and it puts the Rangers in front 2-0. Wow.
Corey Seager is hot right now. And of course, cash us the over 1.5 bases play, but also helped cash the premium. Texas minus 1.5 plus 115. Corey Seager gets 6 bases, so cashes the minus 130. And then Austin Riley hit a home run in his first at bat, cashing the over 1.5 bases. So it ends up being plus 2.15 unit day. And the profitable streak continues and moves to 7 days, which is awesome. And looking to keep it going and push it to 8 days here on today's slate. Getting into the chat. Dun, 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 dun. Terry, ... Hello, Nicholas. How's it going? Nice to see we aren't against each other today. Let's get it. Woke up late and missed y'all. Our sports bet's going to rewatch the show soon. There we go. But we will jump right into today's slate here. As we begin with the first game of the day, which is between the Chicago Cubs and the Baltimore Orioles. Here in this one, Jameson Taillon will be on the mound for the Cubs. Dean Kramer on the mound for the Orioles. Michael Busch back on the spreadsheet. We haven't seen him since the beginning of the season when he started off the season so hot. And in recent games, he has been heating up recently. Multiple bases in 3 of his last 4, home run in his last game, 5-game hitting streak. Didn't get to his props today. To be honest, didn't get to any props in this game, but Michael Busch is a heavy lean for me. Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, neither have got a hit off Kramer. Of course, only 4 at bats combined, so very small sample size. Didn't get to any props there. And actually, I lied. I do have one prop in this game. I totally forgot. Ryan O'Hearn, passing on him. Um, 3 singles and 13 at bats um, against Jameson Tyon. And then Gunnar Henderson. How can I forget about Gunnar Henderson? Multiple bases in 8 of his last 13 games. I'll take him here for a half unit to get multiple bases here. Jameson Tyon and Dean Kramer have been both pitching pretty well recently overall. So not a game that I want to really go too heavy in player props. Heston Kierstad has been heating up for the Orioles recently. Hit in 6 of his last 7 games, back-to-back games with multiple bases. So we'll keep an eye on him, see if he can continue his hot streak for the Orioles. But when it comes to today's play, we'll take Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 bases here in the first game of the night. Nick leans the over. Interesting. Okay. Cashed us 6 home run props in a 2-day stretch this past week. Yeah, I was due to come back to earth, but man, we were hand in hand on a lot of these plays. Consensus. Love to hear it. Good luck on all your tickets, Terry Earls in chat. Thanks, Top Geo. 0.15 unit on Santander home run plus 800. That's a great price for Santander. He's not quite consistent enough for me, but definitely could go out there and hit a home run. That's what he does. So we'll see. Hopefully, he can get that for you. But we'll move on along to our next game here, the LA Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Bobby Miller on the mound for the Dodgers, 1-1 with a 6.12 ERA. Zach Wheeler on the mound for the Phillies, 9-4 with a 2.74 ERA on the season. Looking at player props here, no side play for me in this game. Only have 2 sides on today's slate, both available on picksandparlays.net. Teoscar Hernandez, 3 for 8 with a double and a home run against Wheeler. I looked at Teoscar props, ultimately stayed off. Will Smith, 2 for 6 with a double against Wheeler. Smith has been doing well recently. Otani, kind of went cold there, but did get a home run, I believe, in the last game. 1 for 1 against Wheeler, but only a single. And then Freddie Freeman has seen a lot of Zach Wheeler, 21 for 51, 4 doubles, 2 home runs for Freeman, and a lot of singles there. Nick Castellanos cooling off 0 for 3 against Miller. Alec Boehm, Trey Turner, also not quite consistent enough for me to jump on their props. The big guns for the Phillies kind of cooling off, and of course, they have a lot of injuries right now. So ultimately, staying off this game. But kind of lean towards the Dodger side, even with Miller on the mound here. Nick is waking up and fading the Dodgers. That's what Nick does. Wakes up, fades the Dodgers. Weather is good. It's like 95 to 10 plus mile winds blowing straight out of Baltimore. So that ball is going to be flying. Awesome. That sounds good. That sounds good. But we will go on along to our next game here. The Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers here. Ben Lively on the mound for the Guardians. Kenta Maeda on the mound for Detroit. Obviously, pitching advantage here with Cleveland and Ben Lively. But the Guardians' bats are cooling off significantly recently. The hottest player on their team right now is Angel Martinez, hitting 5 of his last 6 games, multiple bases in 4 of his last 6. Josh Naylor, he's 4 for 14 against Maeda, 2 doubles and a home run, multiple bases in 5 of 9. So the last few games, he hasn't really done much. So Guardians bats starting to cool off here. When it comes to Detroit, Wenceal Perez, Colt Keith, not doing too bad recently. Not enough for me to pull the trigger. Riley Green, not consistent enough either. So this game is a pass. Yesterday we had 2 pitchers with very high ERAs. The game finishes 1-0. which shows you what's happening with both teams' offenses right now, and not something I want to touch when it comes to player props. Freeman over 1.5 bases and over half a walk. He's got 15 walks against Wheeler in the career. Oh, okay. Some good stats here from Stop Geo. I like it. Wanted Cleveland, but no play. Yeah, not a game I want to get involved with. But we'll move on along to the next game. A game I am going to get involved with. We've got the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. Here in this one, Carlos Rodon on the mound for the Yankees, Ryan Papaya on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays in this one. And as you can see on the spreadsheet, both offenses are cooling down recently. Not a lot of players are consistent right now. Brandon Lowe for the Tampa Bay Rays, multiple bases in 4 of 7. So he does have a home run in 3 of 7. So he has been one of the more consistent hitters recently. 2 for 6, a double and a home run against Rodon. So you could potentially look at Brandon Lowe here. For the New York Yankees, yes, he didn't come through on Sunday night for us and didn't look good in his 4 at bats. But can't hold a grudge. Got to look at what he was doing before that, and that was hitting the ball very well. So we'll go back to Ben Rice one more time here, over 1.5 bases for a half unit, which he's done in 5 of his last 7 games. When it comes to the side, uh, I am still on the fade the Yankees train, I guess you could say, but I'm not sure I want to do it with the Tampa Bay Rays. They're just not a team that I really want to back here, especially with this pitching matchup. It's ultimately a pass. Um, can't get to fading the Yankees in this one, so we'll take Ben Rice over 1.5 bases. Going for 5 straight New York Yankee games, correct? And you're fading the Yankees plus 105. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is. I don't think this is a good spot here. I think this is one of the spots where the Yankees going to win, and this series might be a good one for the Yankees to turn things around. I'm not high on this Tampa Bay team at all. Oakland Athletics are facing the Boston Red Sox here in this one, and this is another game where we have the wind is blowing out, and we've got Joey Estes on the mound for the Oakland Athletics. Is coming off his best game of the season. 9 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in a win, but it was against the LA Angels. And if you've watched yesterday's show, I talked some shit about this Angels offense, which actually scored a few runs yesterday. So there we go. But having your best game against the LA Angels isn't all that impressive. Now he's going to have to face Boston here. Brian Bello on the mound for the Red Sox. He's coming off a pretty decent start in his last game against Miami. But previous to that, he got absolutely shelled by the Jays. 7 hits, 5 hits, 7 earned runs, and 3 walks over 2.1 innings. Now he's going to face this Oakland Athletics team. When you look at it, Brian Bello actually pitches better on the road. At home, 2-3 with a 6.21 ERA in the season. And now he's facing this Athletics team. And a couple of these guys have had some success against Bello. Brent Rooker, 1-for-2 with a double. We'll take Rooker over 1.5 bases for a half unit. Shayla Langoliers. Langoliers. 2-for-4 with a double and a home run against Bello. He's got a home run in 2 of his last 3 games. We'll take him for a home run for a quarter unit and a half unit on over 1.5 bases. Max Schumann, not doing too bad recently, but we're not going to get to him. We will get to Devers, though. Quarter unit on the home run. 6 of his last 11 games, he has a home run. And coming home here, the wind blowing out. I think we can see a Devers home run. So we'll take him here in this game. Nothing for Tyler O'Neill and nothing for Yoshida. Staying off both of their props here in this game. Way too invested in this game. Everything correlates. Boston run line, team total over 5.5. First 5 over 5.5, and full game over 10. Wow. Wow. So Nick is all over this game. I hope we see a lot of runs for the over because obviously I have player props here in this game. But the total's a bit too high for me to take myself. But best of luck. Good day, Terry. Late but here. Hey, good day, Captain Bry. You haven't missed too much. A few games, but hello, Terry and friends. Hey, Addison. How's it going? Yeah, I got Devers over 2.5 bases, -120, and sprinkle home run. Yeah, I am also on someone over 2.5 bases today, which we'll talk about shortly. But yeah, I didn't get to the Devers 2.5 bases. It just seemed a bit much, but I did take the home run. So at least I've got something on Devers, expecting him to do something here. But moving on along to our next game, we've got the Colorado Rockies and the Cincinnati Reds. Cal Quantrill on the mound for the Rockies, Nick Lodolo on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. And Cal Quantrill overall, 6-6 with a 3.77 ERA on the season. But in more recent starts, has been getting hit a bit more recently. In his last 7 starts, 2-3 with a 4.17 ERA. His last start, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks against Milwaukee. Previous to that, 7 hits, 5 earned runs against the White Sox, 7 hits, 3 earned runs against Washington. So it's been a bit of a rough go for Quantrill lately. Nick Lodolo is coming off an injury. Last pitched on June 23rd, so didn't miss too much time here. Wasn't the best start. 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks for him in that one against Boston. And when it comes to a side perspective in this game, I lean with the Reds, but the price, they're just too big of favorites here in this game. So didn't get to anything when it comes to the side in this one. Brenton Doyle, Jay Cave, we're not going to take either of their props. Yes, we're going back to Spencer Steer. Yes, he didn't get anything for us yesterday, but I like him to bounce back today. Quarter unit on the home run and a half unit on over 1.5 bases here for Spencer Steer. We have seen Quantrill get hit lately, so if anyone can do it, it's Spencer Steer. So I like him to get multiple bases and a home run, hopefully here in this one. I know it's pricey, but achieved an 8 of 11. There we go. Go for it. Go for it. Especially with the wind blowing out too. But we'll go on along to our next one here. The Washington Nationals are facing the New York Mets here in this one. Jake Irvin on the mound for the Nationals. Jose Quintana on the mound for the Mets. And this is a very nice and easy pass. Shouldn't have touched the Nationals yesterday, but I did. Abrams 0 for 6 against Quintana. Not taking Abrams. Winker 3 for 15 with a double. Not quite consistent enough lately. Garcia Jr., James Wood, not interested in either of their props either. And then when it comes to the Mets, their hottest hitters, Francisco Alvarez 0 for 5 against Irvin. Brandon Nimmo 1 for 6 with a single. So we have seen the Mets offense and the Mets overall in general have cooled off recently. The grimace magic has seemed to wear off for the Mets recently. So not touching this game. This is one of the easiest passes on the slate for me here today. Lodolo over 6.5 Ks. Okay. Best of luck. Hopefully he pitches a long time. I know he is coming off some kind of injury here, but hopefully he pitches deep enough for you to get that play. Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Cardinals here in this one. And for the Kansas City Royals, we've got, if I can bring it up, we've got nothing because this game has been officially postponed because of rain. So luckily I didn't have any plays, but we'll just skip right over this game because it was just announced that it has been postponed due to rain, so it doesn't exist. So we'll just skip on along to this game. We've got the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox here. Bailey Ober on the mound for the Twins, Eric Fetty on the mound for the White Sox. Um, Eric Fetty has pitched pretty well recently, actually. And on the season, 6-3 with a 3.13 ERA and 18 starts. To have a winning record, 6-3 on the Chicago White Sox, says a lot. And most likely, we are going to see Mr. Fetty get traded at the deadline. Somebody will want pitching help. Um, Maybe the Dodgers. I don't know, but he's going to end up finding himself somewhere else with how well he has pitched overall in the season. Um, is coming off a win in his last game against Cleveland, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Previous to that, 5 hits, 4 earned runs against the Dodgers, and then a loss against Detroit where he only gave up 2 earned runs. So he has been pitching well. However, in comes the Minnesota Twins, who are hitting the ball, but it's not just the top of the lineup where you expect a team to hit the ball. It is the bottom of the lineup, which includes Buxton and Brooks Lee. Buxton, I believe, was batting 7th, Brooks Lee 8th, or Buxton 6th, or Brooks Lee 7th, something like that. They're towards the middle, bottom of the lineup. But boy, have they been contributing. And it's actually really dangerous having Buxton and then Brooks Lee following him. It's been dangerous here. Buxton hit in 13 of his last 15 games, multiple bases in 12 of his last 14, an RBI in 9 of his last 13. He's 1 for 2 with a double against Eric Fetty. We'll take Buxton over 1.5 bases and RBI. Brooks Lee has played in 6 MLB games to start his career. He's got a hit in all 6 games, multiple bases in 5 of 6, and RBI in 5 of 6. As I said at the beginning of the show, his RBI prop is still between plus 210 to plus 220 at Bet365. Um, we've cashed on it, 3 games in a row now here? We'll take Brooks Lee RBI and Brooks Lee over 1.5 bases once again here, especially against the White Sox. Carlos Correa got a home run yesterday. Ultimately, not going to get to his props or Jose Miranda. And it's not because I don't think they'll do anything. It's that Eric Fetty has pitched pretty well. And I don't really want to overload too many props against him. White Sox props, as you know, we don't bet on White Sox props, except for one mistake that I made earlier last week. Andrew Vaughn, we're passing on him. Luis Robert Jr. 0 for 5 against Ober. Lennon Sosa starting to cool off recently in his most recent games. Bailey Ober has won 3 of his last 4 starts and has looked very, very good recently. So we'll see if he can continue it here against this Chicago White Sox lineup. But we will see. Go back here. I thought there was another postponement because the things moved around, but yeah. Can't quit on Buxton now. No, definitely not. Miranda and Seager are both to get a hit parlay, minus 120 on FanDuel. Odds were way worse on other books. Okay. Can't talk you off that. Miranda has a hit. We'll switch over in 12 games in a row. So, yeah. Correa 10 games in a row. So As I said, a lot of these Twins are hitting the ball very well right now. Moving on along, the Pittsburgh Pirates are facing the Milwaukee Brewers here in this one. Um, Colin Ria on the mound for the Brewers. Nobody yet announced on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates yet, and because of that, Milwaukee props are not available. Brian Reynolds, 5 for 9 with 2 doubles against Ria. Not going to take Reynolds props. Rowdy Tellez, 0 for 3 against Ria, 5 multi bases and 5 of 12, so not nearly consistent enough for me recently. Um, Christian Yelich, 2 for 5 with a double against Priester, who is was projected last night when I updated the stats here. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. It's still now it says Josh Fleming. So who's going to be pitching for Pittsburgh? Who knows? And until we find out, no plays. But looking at Christian Yelich home run and over 1.5 bases, which he's done in back-to-back games. And then also looking at Eric Haas. 3 games he's played in, multiple bases in 2 of 3, a home run in his last game. So I'll be looking at his props as well when props are available here in this game when we know who's pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I do want to say, going back to the Minnesota game quickly, there is a 78% chance of rain. So, fortunately, there are some games here today where rain could be a factor, but ultimately, I'm still on the plays that I've locked in, so I'm not going to change that. Miami Marlins are facing the Houston Astros. Trevor Rogers on the mound for Miami. No one yet announced for Houston. I think it's supposed to be Ronel Blanco, but nobody yet announced. Not touching Miami props. And then Cleveland bats. Again, not quite consistent enough for me recently. So this game, another easy pass on today's slate. Moving on along to a game that I'm not passing on, we've got the Texas Rangers and the LA Angels here. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Rangers. Roansy Contreras making the start here for the Angels. Contreras 1-0 with a 4.41 ERA in 12 games played. This will be his first start here in this game, so we'll see how he does. Max Scherzer 1-2 with a 2.70 ERA in the season. Only pitched in 3 games, but faced some pretty good opponents: San Diego, Baltimore, and Kansas City. So now he's going to face all 3 of those teams have much better records than the LA Angels, who he is going to face now. Corey Seager. Unfortunately, over 1.5 bases was what, like minus 150 or something like that. So we're not doing that. That's for sure. Does have multiple bases in 9 of his last 10. We'll go a step further and take him over 2.5 bases here, which I believe was plus 110. Which I guess I should probably take this number down because he's 9 of 10 multiple bases. I don't know exactly how many he has over 2.5. Home run in his last game, so we'll put a quarter unit on that as well for Corey Seager. Marcus Semien starting to heat up the last couple of games. Not taking his props though. Wyatt Langford over 1.5 bases. We'll go a half unit on that. Langford again heating up recently. He's been a little bit more consistent than Semien overall. And obviously better numbers, a better price here with Langford. Nathaniel Lowe will stay off of. And the Angels, well, I looked to try to add somebody to the spreadsheet, but once again, nobody is consistent enough. I believe Mickey Moniak had multiple bases yesterday, but that was the first game he's had multiple bases in a while. So nobody. is still hitting for the Angels. Yes, they scored 3 runs yesterday, but nobody consistent enough to go on the spreadsheet. So once again, nobody for the LA Angels. Rangers first 5 run line. Okay, and full game run line. Seager home run, and I got to check out his 2 bases. All right, Captain Bry is in agreement. But yeah, hopefully he has another big game here for the Rangers. Seattle Mariners and the San Diego Padres here in this one. Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners. Uh, Adam Mazur on the mound for the Padres. And it has not been a very fun MLB debut for Adam Mazur. He's pitched in 6 games. He's 1-2 with a 7.52 ERA. His last game, 7 hits, 4 runs against Texas, 6 hits, 4 runs against Washington, 5 hits, 3 runs against Milwaukee. Everybody's hitting him. Now, he does get to face Seattle Mariners, who, of course, don't have the strongest offense. But the way Missouri is pitching since he debuted, I'm kind of surprised he's still up in the major leagues. We'll take Luke Raley over 1.5 bases. He's done it in 3 games in a row. So we'll take him here against Missouri. Jurickson Profar, I want to take Profar props. Home run in 3 of his last 4 games, multiple bases in 5 games in a row, and RBI in 4 games in a row. He is absolutely red hot, but he's 0 for 6 against Gilbert. And ultimately, that's going to keep me off. I will not be surprised to see him end that 0 for 6, but it's enough to keep me off here. Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, both cooling off. Not really interested in either of their props. So it's a Seattle prop, which we haven't done very often this year, but we'll take Luke Raley over 1.5 bases here against Missouri. Seager, Devers, Ramos hit parlay plus 139 at FanDuel. Okay, I like that. Shout out to Captain Bry for the Buxton run. Yes, Buxton run. Of course, when you bat in front of Brooks Lee, like I said, it's a perfect combination to have Buxton right before Lee. Buxton gets a hit, Lee gets a hit, and of course, Buxton's a really fast runner and is able to quickly run home and score. So, a great call there by Captain Bry on Buxton run. Really anything with Buxton. And I was worried too about Buxton because he was trending on Twitter because a lot of people were seeing Buxton props and were jumping on to the train, jumping on yesterday. Here on this channel, we've been betting Buxton for much longer than that, but yeah, I was a little bit worried to see everybody jumping on Buxton props, and I thought, but even that wasn't able to stop Buxton yesterday, so that was awesome. Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks here, which I believe is the second last game of the night. Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves, Zach Gallen on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And we've come to the game where my favorite prop of the night, my only 1 unit play of the night, and that's on Austin Riley, over 1.5 bases. Riley is heating up over his last 7 games. A hit in 6 of 7, multiple bases in 6 of 7, a home run in 3 of 7, including last night in his first at bat. Against Gallen, he's 4 for 10. A single, a double, a triple, and a home run. So he is one of every kind of hit against Gallen. Now I hope he'll add a second home run today. We'll take him full unit on over 1.5 bases and a quarter unit on the home run. Sean Murphy jumped on the spreadsheet here, starting to heat up the last few games. We'll see what he does. Christian Walker, Gabriel Moreno, not taking their props. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., not quite consistent enough for me. Um, but does have some good hits here, double, triple, and a home run, and he has singles as well against um, Chris Sale, but ultimately stayed off the Arizona props and just sticking with Riley. Hat tip back on Buxton Run, plus 110-ish today. Wow. Wow, there you go. And that's because probably because the pitcher is a bit better. Um, Eric Fetty has pitched better for the White Sox. But moving on along to the final game of the night, which is between the Toronto Blue Jays and the San Francisco Giants here. You say Kikuchi on the mound for the Jays, Blake Snell on the mound for the Giants. And this total is at a 7.5. And I've been looking and looking and looking, and ultimately I'm going to stay off 7.5 at plus money. I really want to take the over here. Both pitchers have struggled. However, both offenses have not been good overall on the year. The Jays' offense, of course, has been heating up more recently. So I didn't get to the over, but I think we do get some runs here on both sides. Vladdy 2 for 6 with a double against Snell. Going to stay off his props. Springer has been great over his last 13 games. Multiple bases in 8 of 13. He's 5 for 20 with a home run against Snell. So we'll take Springer over 1.5 bases for half unit. Not taking Horwitz props. Going to pass there. When it comes to the Giants, I do lean with Matt Chapman. Being a former Blue Jay, I think Chapman will be motivated definitely to have a good game. Multiple bases, I believe, was minus 105, which isn't horrible, but didn't end up getting to it because it's not plus money. Michael Conforto and Jorge Soler. I'm still looking at this game. So Jorge Soler, 2 home runs against Kikuchi. Kikuchi can definitely give up a home run. So I do lean with Soler, Conforto props. I want to see who's confirmed, see how the night goes. I might add something in this one, but as of yet, only George Springer over 1.5 bases here in the final game of the night. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I got the Buxton run for plus 140 earlier. Wow, there you go. Somebody posting a bunch of, I'm not sure what they're trying to say, so we'll skip over that. It's plus 130 on MGM. Okay, there we go. Very nice, guys. But we will go to the recap of today's plays, and then we'll finish off the show here. Gunnar Henderson over 1.5 bases, minus 105. Ben Rice over 1.5 bases, plus 155. Rafael Devers home run, plus 215. Shea Langeliers over 1.5 bases, plus 100. Shea Langeliers home run, plus 400. Brent Rooker over 1.5 bases, plus 100. Spencer Steer home run, plus 450. Spencer Steer over 1.5 bases, minus 105. Buxton RBI plus 170. Brooks Lee RBI plus 220. Brooks Lee over 1.5 bases plus 160. And Byron Buxton over 1.5 bases plus 145. Seager home run plus 220. Wyatt Langford over 1.5 bases plus 130. And Seager over 2.5 bases plus 110. Luke Rayleigh over 1.5 bases plus 160. Austin Riley home run plus 430. Austin Riley over 1.5 bases plus 125. And George Springer over 1.5 bases plus 155 on today's slate. Picks apart these exclusive plays. I've got 2 MLB plays up on the site for today, and I have a play in each of the CFL games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got a play in each game, all available for purchase over on picksandparlays.net. Link is in the description below. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate all the support, everyone. Um, let's make some money. Yes, sounds good, Juan. Taking Heliot Ramos over 1.5 hit run RBI, minus 130. All right, all right. Against Kikuchi. I really do. I really want to take the over. 7.5 at plus money. Uh, Just the Giants' offense. I don't know. That's the only thing that's keeping me off. But I think we do get runs there. Thanks, Terry. No problem, Juan. Thank you, man. No problem. Stop Trio. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, Trends and Betting Picks. Best of luck tonight, everyone.